I'm gonna be honest. Like, a lot of people be like, I know it's hard and you feel like you want to check out, but it gets better if as long as you stay in everything. And I necessarily don't really believe that. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't believe that it really gets better. Cause like here in my situation, I have no girlfriend, I have no friends. I'm in this situation where it's just like nobody seems to want to help make the situation better. They just sit on their ass all day and talk about this political shit and keep asking for money all the time. And it's like you keep trying to do something to make your living situation better. But it's just like you keep trying to make your living situation better. You could keep coming up with these creative ideas, but none of them seem to ever work out. And it just makes you feel like it makes me feel like a failure. Trying to do all these creative things. Like 3D modeling, song lyrics, whatever the case is, right? Movies, writing scripts and shit. And it's like when you don't have anybody like in your corner, or like some support, or like a support system, or like something, and you doing it, all on your own, you just feel lonely and isolated, right? And it's like to the point where it's like, people say find your community and everything, and I'm like, okay, where do you start? I just all these affirmations that people say, I just don't believe that shit no more. To a certain degree, I never really believed it, because it's just like I said, it's just a hard thing to believe when you don't see any of that in your personal life. And so it's just hard. Like I said, when you have nobody in your corner helping you out or doing anything, like, you know what I mean? It's just like you don't know who to call. You have nobody to call. You just you know what I mean? You just basically just be sitting here just like creating. Like in my case, it's just creating, and no outlet to put that shit anywhere. Or like, because I'm mostly an introverted person. And my whole thing is just like I do like a lot of creation. Introverted people don't have, they don't have like, they're not business savvy. Not saying none of them are, but they're not too business savvy to do the business side of it. Like, it was just like these two brothers that I knew, and one drew the comic book, and the other one, he did the business side to the whole thing. Like, he got the conventions together. He got certain things to, I guess he talked to certain, like the printing press, he did certain stuff like that. His brother didn't. His brother just drew the comic book. It's just like me. It's just like I have to do all this stuff by myself, and it's just And it's just like, at this point, I'm 42 years old. I'm just tired of fighting, basically. It's tiring doing this shit, like, by myself, like, trying to figure out this, trying to figure out that. And like I said, when you have no friends, you have nobody to talk to, everything around you just seems like just like, you know what I mean? Just like you have nobody to talk to. And so it gets hard. So it was just like in 2016, like, I attempted to, check out. But I remember the doctor said that the pills I took, that wouldn't have done nothing anyway. So it was just like, damn. Like, I can't even check out right. Like, I can't get anywhere. I can't check out right. So it's like, dude. So I would say like a year or two ago, I can't remember what happened, but like, I knew my grandfather had these shotguns, right? Like, these are old guns. And so, I knew he had them, and I took them. And so, some time ago, because I have a back scratcher, and I was feeling real depressed, and I've been suffering with depression. So it started in 2009, but I was diagnosed in 2013. And so one day, like, I felt like real bad. Like, I can't even remember what it was either. But I know I just felt real bad. I felt real down. And so I took the shotgun, and I took the back scratcher that I had, and I was trying to fit the back scratcher in the trigger guard with the gun, but it wouldn't fit. And so I was like, come on, like, it just seems like something is just keeping me here. And it's like, I don't want to be here. Like, I want to go out on my own terms, basically. That's the feeling that I was having. And so recently, something came up again. And so I was like, I took a USB cable. Cause okay, even before that, right? Like, there's a metal pole in my room. And I was thinking about taking an extension cord and jumping out the window, like wrapping it around the pole, going out, putting it around my neck and going out the window. But the window won't open far enough for me to even jump out of that shit. Because I stay on the second floor of the house. But anyway, so I took the USB cord and wrapped it around the trigger guard. And I put my foot, like, face the gun towards me. Like, I didn't put no bullet in the shotgun, but I faced it towards me. And I wrapped the thing around the trigger guard, and I pulled the USB cable with my foot, and it went. It like, you hear the gun going off, but since there's no bullet, there's no boom, no blast. So I got it in my mind. I was like, if I were to do it, this is how to do it. And so yesterday, just thinking about like a lot of stuff that's going wrong. Like even in this house, like it's cold as hell in this house. And I slept in some sweatpants, my hoodie, my t-shirt, socks. Like I shouldn't have to sleep in all this stuff in my own home. But it gets so cold in the wintertime. And then it gets so hot in the summertime. Like the end of June, July, and August, it's like boiling hot up here. But see, that's kind of like what I'm saying. Like it just gets to the point where I'm trying to come up with ways to basically leave. Cause it's that bad. Like, or I would say it's frustrating to the point where it's just like nobody would truly miss me if I'm gone. Like, of course I have my parent, like my mom, and then like my grandmother and my aunt and everything. But that's pretty much it though. Like nobody would care. Nobody would truly care if I went, like, because like I said, I have no girlfriend, I have no friends. I have nothing to show for it. 42 years trying to chase this dream. And nothing to show for it. Like you I wouldn't say trying to live like everybody else, but just like live a normal life like everybody, normal enough life like everybody else. Like out of all my years, I only been with one girl, like one woman. And this was back when I was 24 years old. You see what I'm saying? It's like stuff like that. Or like, I'm in no position to, like I said, I be trying to do stuff to like make my situation better. But it's just like nothing happens. And it's just frustrating, man. And you hear people talking about like, I don't know, like I said, there's this dude I watch, and he be talking, he's like this anime dude. I think his name is Tommy Weaver Jr. Like he be saying some like cool stuff. Like it's cool, like it's cool, but like I said, it's just to a certain point. It's like to a certain point, you just get tired of the fight. You just get tired. And it's like, especially in the situation I found myself in. Recording this video, it's been a whole month. And it's just like every time you try to make your situation better, every time you try to do something, you just end up losing. You just end up losing something. Like this, like I said, like this situation that I found myself in last month. And I really wish I never went outside to do that shit either. But it's just like I failed to try to do it. It's rather like here's the thing in my situation. It's just nothing happens, or it never works out and it ends up wrong. Or it's just end up like I wasn't supposed to do this thing. And it just doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good trying to make this situation, like, I'm not saying it doesn't, yeah, it's like when you try to make this situation better and this just doesn't work out, that doesn't feel too good, dude. Or you being kind of like guilt tripped into doing this shit. Yeah, like I said, it just doesn't feel good. Like I can't even give people some type of advice about not doing it. Cause it's like people that say this shit don't know people's situations and everything. You know what I mean? It's like you're not in that person's shoes to tell them don't do it. Cause it's like you don't know what they're going through unless you that close to the person's situation. But it's like you just telling people like don't check out because it gets better. It's just like, but you don't know how long they've been dealing with the situation, or like, you know, you don't know if that person has anybody to talk to, or like anything to keep them, to help them stay around. Like you don't know that. So just to tell them to just like it gets better, it's like, okay, but when I've been dealing with this shit like, longer than, it depends on who the person is. They probably been dealing with this shit longer than you or I have been alive. Like you see actors and musicians checking out. Like you think like, oh, this person got the whole world. Then like this, like, there's, in a band, or they're like some actor or something. They got the whole world, but and then you see or hear them like, leaving, and then you wondering like, damn, why did they leave? They had everything. But it's like, okay, from the outside looking in, it's like, yeah, they have everything, but you don't know what they're going through inside, or like, or whatever the case is. Like maybe they just feel like a failure, like I do. I just feel like a failure. And it's just like me, for instance, like I said, I write these songs. I could write lyrics for different, like for all different genres, but where do I go? Who do I talk to like make that into a reality? You see what I'm saying? Like it's just I can't do that right. Like the first time I tried to check out, I couldn't do that right. It's just keep you. I just keep failing at stuff all the time. Like I'm gonna keep it real. Cause a lot of this stemmed from from school. Saying that I was ugly and everything, and trying to get this one girl to like me, and she didn't. And then it was just like, I remember I was in those like, I remember I was in those special ed classes, right? And so I remember, because I always thought the girl didn't like me because I was in those classes. And so I wanted to get out of there. And so I remember the assistant principal, she said, if you get on the honor roll, you can get out of these classes. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And that's exactly what I did. I got on the honor roll. I think this was in 97 or 98 or something like that. Got on the honor roll. I was still in those classes. So it was like, even trying to, again, make my situation better, it went nowhere. So that's kind of like where it all started. Like, that's where that came from. It's like you keep trying to do something to make something better, and it just never works out. It's just always something. It's like some catch to it that's always fucked up all the time. And doing this, like, it's like, yeah, I'm doing this, right, to kind of keep my mind off of certain things, right? But it's kind of like at this point, you know, because I've been doing this type of stuff for 5 years. But it's kind of like at this point, nothing is materializing. Like, it's just another thing that I'm trying to do to make my situation better. But nothing is coming from this, though. So it just feels like this is another creative avenue you tried to take to make your situation better, and nothing is coming from it. So it's like, I'm starting to think, like, what's the point of even doing this then? You know, because like some of these videos you may see, like, you see characters, you see like different models, like the engines I was making. You know, you see these different things. You know, I've been thinking about, you know, mini series, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. You know, like an animated short. But it's like, when you see an animated short, you see like a team of people. You rarely ever see anybody doing everything on their own. And then that's kind of like another thing about, you know, a lot of people I've been thinking about this a lot. A lot of people always want to be like, you know, like I'm on my grind, right? Like, maybe as a young person, like a young, like, individual, you know, maybe that's all well and good. But it's kind of like at a certain point, you get tired of the grind. You get tired of doing that. Like that grind set, or that grind mindset y'all be talking about, that's not cute all the time. It's not as cute as y'all think it is. Like, of course, like, if you make it, you know, that's one thing. But if you constantly keep grinding for years and years and years, and nothing seems to happen, like, you need help. You need help to put you, you know, you need somebody to help lift you up, or somebody to open a door for you, or you know, even people that grind. Like, you don't grind on your own. Like, it's you, I would say it's extremely extraordinarily rare to find somebody that did everything on their own. And I would even argue that nobody makes it on their own. There was always some benefactor. There's always something that happened. Or like they was, I don't know, like they found some money or something, or got into some money, or they had rich parents, or whatever the case is. But nobody makes it on their own. So when you hear all of this grind set thing, it's just kind of like that's just kind of like some bullshit people tell themselves. Like I said, I just don't believe in a lot of this shit. And it's just like it's just kind of like as the years go on and nothing seems to happen, it's hard to believe in anything. It's just hard to believe in anything. Cause like you see like other people like living life, and then it's kind of like, why? Like, what's wrong with me? And then even when I had a friend, like, this is the 4th time, like he ghosted. And then it's like, I looked at this dude as like my brother. Like, even though I was like he was born in 85 and I was born in 83. But I never looked at him like a younger brother. I looked at him like we was like born at the same time. We liked the same, we like had the same, like we liked the same anime, video games. We was always talking about like, yeah, we gonna do this, and when we get to the top, these certain things. But then he just ends up ghosting me like 4 different times in 09. When was it? Wait, no, it was 05, 09, 2012, and now this time. And it's just like, I've been knowing this dude since 93. And then he just leaves like that, you know what I mean? So it was like the one true friend that I had. He ends up leaving. I haven't seen or talked to him since the end of 2023. So it's just like, and then you get to the point where it's just like you don't believe, you don't trust people. Like if you had a friend that you was cool with, like this was your dude, like this was your best friend, and he could do that to you, it's hard to trust anybody, because anybody else can do the same thing. So it's just like hearing all these stories about these things and people talking about just hang in there. It's just like, I don't know about that, bro. Like I said, like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this shit and tell somebody to just hang in there. Because like I said, I don't know like these individual stories. You hear different like I said, you hear different like people in the music industry and shit, and they have these certain problems, and it's just kind of like even though if I was in that situation, like me in that situation, like some people have accidental, drug overdoses or something. So it's like if it was accidental, I mean, it wasn't really like they tried to check out. I don't know, but some people actually end up taking their own lives. And I always think to myself, like, if it was me, I wouldn't have done it, because I would have, like, a lot of my issues would have been solved. You rich, you got women throwing themselves at you. You live in a decent life. You don't have to wear hoodies and sweatpants and socks in your own home when you sleeping. You can live a comfortable life. So if it was me, my situation seems like it would have been solved. Of course you got like other problems, but like a lot of things would have been, like I said, a lot of things would have been solved. But in that person's situation, it's like money can't fix everything. So when you hear the stories, it's just kind of like, it's just like, what could you say? Like, I know, like, the people that they was with, I know it's like, it's hard. But like, from the outside looking in, it's like, there's nothing you could have said. There's nothing you could have said to stop them. So it's just like, they do what they do. And it sucks, but like I said, it's like they feel like they had nobody to talk to, or like, they're dealing with demons that they just can't fight anymore. Like I said, you just get tired of fighting it. So just trying to I don't know, trying to see from the other side, like, why did they do it? Like I said, you don't know. And so, like, for me, like I said, just like I could do this. Like, it's just like I could do all this creative stuff, like anything anybody wanted, like song lyrics, movie scripts for different, and then like song lyrics for different genres, movies from different genres, like this 3D shit. Like, I could draw, like, physically pencil and paper draw. Then I'm doing, like, I'm into 3D, but like this would seem like the final thing. Like, it's just kind of like, okay, the reason why I feel like I have to do all these creative things is kind of like to prove to myself and the world that I never belonged in those, like, special ed classes. Like, okay, like, even with 3D, like, 3D was like the final frontier. Like, after this, you couldn't, like, in terms of 2D drawing and 3D drawing, like, you couldn't get any more complex and harder than this. So it was supposed to be this thing that was like, oh damn, I could get somewhere with this, but it's like I can't. Or like I'm trying to prove, like, I'm overcompensating for the fact that I was in those, like, special ed classes when I wasn't supposed to be in there. Like, I just didn't like school. Like, even though I wake up early now, like hella early, but back as a kid, like, waking up at like what was it, like maybe like 6 o'clock to get ready for school. I wasn't a morning person then. Then I gotta, like, walking to school or taking the bus. Then you in there for hours learning about stuff that you don't care about. It's just, I just didn't like school. And so I guess they took that and was like, well, we're going to put them in those classes. Or some people think that, well, I wouldn't even say some people, like I've heard many times from different people, they do put like more black kids in special ed than white kids. And especially at the time, like people just thought like, oh, this is how it was supposed to be. Nobody, like people see, certain stuff now, but back in the 90s, like, because all this other stuff that people talk about now, like mental health, different programs, certain stuff like that never existed in the 90s. So it was just like, you couldn't perform at this certain level. This was your lot in life, basically. Like nobody ever thought about like, oh well, he got he had ADHD or Asperger's and stuff. Like none of that existed. So it was just like I was just in those classes. There you go. And so now it's just kind of like I'm overcompensating for that fact. Doing all these creative things. Like I'm gonna show everybody I wasn't supposed to be in those classes. But then that was over like 2 decades ago, almost 3. And so it's like at this point I'm tired of trying to get out there to show people that I wasn't supposed to be in them shits. Cause then probably, by this time, nobody probably even remembers me from there. Like you might, like some people kind of maybe, I don't know. But it's just like, nobody's thinking about me like that. So it's just like, and nobody would even care that I'm gone. Because I haven't talked I haven't talked to these folks in like I would say the last one I talked to like physically was like in 2003. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, who would remember me? And then you see all these people that you went to school with, like, damn, they got kids, they married, they fathers or mothers and shit. And it's like, I'm probably like the only one. Like I said, like, so that's why I don't. That's why I just feel like, people that do what they do, like, I don't know, like you, it's like if you got like kids or something, like you should try to stick around for them. Like the only thing I can say is this: if you got kids, you got a family, you got people that depend on you and everything, you should stick around for them at least. That's the only thing I can say about that. Other than that, I don't know. Like, that's up to that person's discretion. Because we don't live in people's shoes. So it just, like I said, I'm not trying to sugarcoat nothing. So it's just, it's hard. Like if you could find a way out, like, or make, find a situation, or try to make your situation better, you should take it. But if you have nothing or have nobody, like I said, that's hard. It's just a hard thing, dude. So that's pretty much all I can say about that situation, man. That's all I can say about that. I'm out.